From the warlords of ancient dynasties to a modern army of 2 million soldiers, from fighting monks to a billion-dollar entertainment industry, Kung Fu is one of the most popular and deadly martial arts on the planet.
We're here in China to explore the roots of this ancient warrior art. We'll train with revered monks at the most sacred site in martial arts and go toe-to-toe with some hardcore fighters from the world's largest army. Then, one of us will square off in a real fight against a real Kung Fu champion.
There are hundreds of distinct fighting styles in the world. They are practiced in every nation and by every people. Now, Jason Chambers, a mixed martial artist and professional fighter, and Bill Duff, a former pro football player and wrestler, are embarked on a mission to explore the history and techniques of these incredible martial arts. And at the end of each journey, one of these two warriors will face the ultimate test. They'll try to survive a real fight with a true human weapon.
Covering over 3.5 million square miles and home to 1.3 billion people, China is the birthplace of Kung Fu. The term Kung Fu originally referred to any great achievement or skill, such as painting or calligraphy. But nowadays, Kung Fu refers to any of the nearly 400 martial arts styles that are practiced here.
We're in Beijing, the capital of modern China. With a population of 15 million citizens, Beijing is also home to 250,000 Kung Fu practitioners.
Sounds like someone's about to be executed. Single leg takedown.
This is reminiscent of judo almost, huh, Bill?
Yep. Does it remind you of your judo fight?
It does a little bit. Kind of does. Gives me the freaking flyer mile feel again.
Yeah, something like the judo, but more fierce.
All Kung Fu can be broken down into two forms. There are the internal forms, like Tai Chi, in which development of a fighter's spiritual energy, or Qi, is just as important as any punch or kick.
But for every internal form, Kung Fu's got an external, or fighting form, which is what we've come to see. There's Baji, a combat style popularized by a monk named Wu Zong, whose wicked skills with both empty hands and weapons earned him the nickname the Spear God.
You know, I wouldn't want to get taken down with the throat. Probably wouldn't be fun.
There's also Tong Bei. This striking art was developed in northern China centuries ago, and its kicks and punches are similar to the movements of indigenous animals.
These are a lot more like the techniques that you see like in a Kung Fu movie. These guys are flying around and a little more acrobatic than the last group. There's a lot of wide movements that are kind of showy. And you have the grappling aspects to it. This I understand. This is stuff that you see in the Jet Li flicks.
Only difference, this is instant. It's, impromptu.
There's even Bagua. With its quick strikes and circular footwork, this form draws its inspiration from the Chinese book of divination, the I Ching.
But no style of Kung Fu is as brutal as Sanda. A highly refined version of a centuries-old system, Sanda combines each of Kung Fu's 4 combat elements: the Ti, or kick, the Da, or punch, the Shui, wrestling, and Na, takedowns. Today, it's the fighting style of the Chinese Red Army, taught to each of its 2 million soldiers. These Sanda students train under Master Qin Chao. A 3-time All-China Sandow champion, Master Chao has trained some of China's most awesome martial artists.
Do you like Sanda?
Yeah, it looks really cool. I mean, I like the fact that you have the boxing and the kickboxing and the takedowns, and that's something that's really comfortable for me.
Master Chao had a challenge for us.
Is that if you really like stand-up, so you need to begin with the traditional Chinese Kung Fu. Then you come back to learn the stand-up. In this way, your skill will be improved quickly.
Do you have somebody to kick our butts?
Okay.
Okay. Now he speaks English. We'll see you
At
soon.
the end of our journey, Master Chen Chao wants us to take on one of the rising stars of Kung Fu in a full-on standoff fight. The fighter's name is Yan DeLong.
Never trust the guy who's smiling asking you if you want to fight. Well, we look forward to having your students break bones of ours, and we got some Kung Fu training to do.
Easy.
Fun and games aside, we had some serious training to do if we were to stand a chance against Yan.
And believe it or not, the best place in Beijing to track down Kung Fu masters is at Beiputua Movie Studios. Having cranked out more than 800 films since its inception, Beiputua employs hundreds of China's best fighters. Kung Fu films have been part of Chinese culture since Burning of the Red Lotus Temple premiered in 1928. Although it wasn't until Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon in 1973 that Kung Fu gained real traction with Western audiences. Today, everyone from Jackie Chan to Jet Li has taken a starring turn in a Beiputua movie.
But it's the high-flying techniques, not the star power, that make Beiputua so impressive. It's called Wire Fu, and with a combination of wires, harnesses, and special effects, it allows fighters to leap from tall buildings, dodge bullets, and stand still in midair. The plot of these films may not be all that realistic, but Wire Fu moves are actually based on centuries-old Kung Fu techniques.
So we meet up with Yang Chong Yu, Beiputua's action choreographer and resident Wire Fu expert. Yu could teach us a move that could be used not only in a Kung Fu movie, but also in our fight against Yan. It's a long-range kick derived from Ti, Kung Fu's main kick strike system. To execute the kick, the fighter first uses his left leg to deflect the opponent's strike. While the left leg is still in midair, the right leg is kicked outward at your opponent's chest. So even without a wire, you're airborne when you deliver the strike.
The move is difficult but devastating. There's no opposing object to push against, so all the energy of the move must come from the momentum of the leap and the acceleration of the kick. The snapping motion of the lower leg functions much like a coiled spring. When unleashed, the kick reaches impact speeds of 20 miles per hour and delivers up to 400 pounds of force to the opponent's chest.
That's your traditional Kung Fu kick, and whether on a wire or on the mat, no matter where you're at, you can use it.
Yang Chong Yu was happy with our progress on the ground, so it was time to try out the move wired up. And whether it's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or The Matrix, whenever an action hero floats across the screen to deliver a wicked kick to the bad guy's face, it's wires like these and a few human counterweights that are holding him up.
He says, 15 years ago when he first started in the business, there wasn't any post-production where they can erase, the wires. So they had to use something that was even thinner. But nowadays, they can afford to use thicker wire, and they can even use mountain climbing rope, and they can still get rid of it in post-production. So it's a lot safer than when he started.
This rope is the same rope they use to attach the parachutes to the planes to slow them down. So
if you can slow down a plane, it can slow down a duck.
it's really cool to be doing what you see in the movies. You see Jackie Chan and Jet Li do these things, you're like, wow, I'd love to try that. Even though it's movie magic, you would do this same kick that kicks someone in the face in a real Kung Fu play.
Just a waistband.
Then it was my turn to get strapped in.
I tell you what, you can't breathe. Tight, 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 tight. Every region of my body is searching for where that blood went because it's all cut off.
Just think, if it messes up, you'll never know.
The physics of doing the Wire Fu move while suspended in air are tricky. With no ground to stabilize you, even the slightest turn or twist can throw you off course.
I improvised.
他如果说侧腹的时候这样，然后他用顶腰。
Yeah, he says the reason you swung around is because when you made that kick, what you need to do is you turn out your upper body and make an actual swing and a follow through, so your momentum will carry your right leg.
Okay.
Once I started rotating my torso and following through on my kicks, I got the hang of it. So Yang and his crew upped the ante.
That was fun. That's fun. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You watch out. I'm coming for you, Jackie Chan.
But we were still miles away from being ready to take on a real kung fu fighter. Next, we'd